Hello friends, this is our fourth lecture on chapter number 13 AC circuits. In last lecture we discussed about a LCR circuit as well as some part of the electric resonance. Then what is the electric resonance? When the system is driven by an energy source whose frequency is equal to natural frequency of the system. Means system is operated by external energy source whose frequency is exactly equal to natural frequency of the system. Then we say that a resonance takes place, the amplitude of the oscillation becomes large and resonance said to be occur. And we discuss about examples of it. To tune radio or TV for certain channel, as well as when glass breaks due to during orchestra concert as well as explosion of bomb. Then we go through a electric resonance, series resonance and parallel resonance. First we are looking forward a series resonance circuit. As discussed previously in LCR circuit, a circuit in which inductance, capacitance and resistance are connected in series. The circuit admits a maximum current for a given frequency of AC. Mean maximum current is flowing through it. How it is possible? Let us say the impedance of the LCR circuit is given by Z equal to square root of R square plus XL minus XC bracket square. At low frequency, say frequency is supposed to be low, then inductive reactance equal to omega L or 2 by FL. Means at low frequency inductive reactance is almost minimum or negligible. But capacitive reactance is more because Xc equal to 1 upon omega C or 1 upon 2 pi Fc. Frequency is less, capacitive reactance is more. Meaning in short, at low frequency, inductive reactance is less or negligible and capacitive reactance is a maximum. Then, as we increase the applied frequency, means applied frequency is gradually increases. I am discussing previously radio FM. Means 91.5 red FM is there. Means 91.5 megahertz frequency emitted by that radio station. This electromagnetic waves comes in our home, and we have a radio in mobile or other appliance. Then this radio is having an inductive and capacitive circuit, and when we increase its frequency, means 87, 88, 89 and up to 91.5, then what happens? Actually, we increase the inductive reactance. How we can increase the inductive reactance? By increasing the value of inductor. And as we increase the inductive reactance, what happens there? Then frequency increases, inductive reactance increases. And as inductive reactance increases, no doubt capacitive reactance decreases because frequency increases. A frequency is inversely proportional to capacitive reactance. Then look here, inductive frequency goes on increasing, and that means inductive reactance goes on increasing and capacitive reactance goes on decreasing. Just like as one train is coming from Panvel and it is going towards the VT, and other train is coming from CST to Panvel, then there should be one station where both trains are meet simultaneously. Okay, exactly same thing is there. As inductive reactance goes on increasing and capacitive reactance goes on decreasing, Then at a particular stage, what happen? At some frequency, inductive reactance equal to capacitive reactance. Means at a frequency, this angular frequency we consider omega r L equals to 1 upon omega r C. Or you can say 2 pi FRL equal to 1 upon 2 pi FRC. Or you can say here FR square equal to, FR is taken in this side and 2 pi is taken on that side, then 1 upon 4 pi square LC. Or taking square root, FR equals to 1 upon 2 pi square root of LC. This frequency is called as a resonant frequency. And we say that a series resonance is occur. Means here, how we can occur the series resonance? How we get series resonance? Inductive reactance increases, capacitive reactance decreases as frequency goes on increasing. Okay. Then, what are the characteristics of series resonance? When resonance occurs, inductive reactance is exactly equal to capacitive reactance. The frequency, resonant frequency is FR equal to 1 upon 2 pi square root of LC. Then, as XL equal to XC, look in this expression. Z equal to what? Square root of R square plus 0. Or you say Z equal to R. Z equal to R mean value of impedance is minimum and it is equal to resistance. As impedance in the circuit is minimum, no doubt circuit is, it is equal to resistance, circuit becomes purely resistive. And we know that current equals to I naught equal to E naught upon Z or E naught upon R. As Z is minimum, current is maximum. Means the maximum current is drawn in the circuit. Look here. Here is the graph of the frequency versus current is there. Initially, frequency goes on increasing, current also goes on increasing, and at a particular stage or particular frequency, a current is maximum. And thereafter, again frequency increases, current goes on decreasing, just like it. This is the graph. Now, in this case, current maximum. When the number of frequency fed it accept only one frequency. Means so many frequencies are fed. Then current is not becomes maximum, but when it accepts only one frequency for which and reject other frequency, the current is maximum for FR. Hence, it is called as the acceptor circuit because it accepts the resonant frequency, and for that frequency current is maximum. Okay, and then this circuit is called as the acceptor circuit. It accepts the current, or it assess to flow the maximum current at resonant frequency. That's why it is called as the acceptor circuit, and it is useful for a radio and TV receiver for tuning signals from desired channel. I think this is all about a series resonance. Thereafter, we go through a parallel resonance. In parallel resonance, look in the figure, the inductor and capacitor are joined in parallel with AC source of EMF E. Means here inductor is there and here capacitor is there. They are connected in parallel along with the AC source. Now, let alternating EMF supplied by the source is E equal to E naught sin omega t. Look here, this alternating EMF is E equal to E naught sin omega t. Then I is the current flowing through, total current through the circuit. It is divided into two parts according to Kirchhoff's law. Some current is flowing through the inductor, say IL, and remaining current is flowing through the capacitor, say IC. As we know that when current is flowing through the inductor, we know that current is lags behind the EMF by pi by 2 phase in inductive circuit. And in capacitive circuit, current leads the EMF by pi by 2 phase. As EMF is, phase of the EMF is omega t, in inductive circuit, current is behind or lags. So it is E naught upon XL sin omega t minus pi by 2 for inductive circuit. And for capacitive circuit, current leads the EMF by phase angle pi by 2, and it is given by IC equal to E naught upon XC sin omega t plus pi by 2. Thereafter, total current in the circuit according to Kirchhoff's law, I equal to IL plus IC. Or you can say E naught upon XL sin omega t minus pi by 2 plus E naught upon XC sin omega t plus pi by 2. Thereafter, you can take here sin omega t pi by 2 minus omega t, you can take, minus sign is taken common. And thereafter, sin pi by 2 minus omega t is nothing but the cos omega t. So you can take here minus cos omega t. How? Minus sign is taken common, pi by 2 minus omega t, pi by 2 minus theta, sin pi by 2 minus theta is the cos omega t. So that's why here you take minus cos omega t. And similarly, sin pi by 2 plus theta is the cos theta. So directly here take a E naught upon XC cos omega t. Thereafter, E naught cos omega t is common, 1 upon XC minus 1 upon XL. And as E naught cos omega t, omega c minus 1 upon omega L. Then look here, when current is minimum, 1 upon XC equal to 1 upon XL. The reciprocal of the inductive reactance and reciprocal of the capacitive reactance are equal. Or in short, we take omega c equal to 1 upon omega L. Taking omega term in this side, then omega square equal to 1 upon LC. But omega is nothing but the 2 pi FR square. FR is the resonant frequency, which is equal to 1 upon LC. Similar case as that of the series resonance. But look here, in series resonance, maximum current is drawn, impedance is minimum. And here, impedance is infinity, try to understand. And minimum current is drawn. So FR equals to 1 upon 2 pi square root of LC, where FR is the resonant frequency. Then what are the characteristics? Again, same thing. Inductive reactor, reciprocal, actually reciprocal of the inductive reactance equal to reciprocal of capacitive reactance. Or you say XL equal to XC also. A resonant frequency is again same. FR equals to 1 upon 2 pi square root of LC. Then here, in that case, impedance is minimum and it is a resistance for series resonance. But in parallel resonance, opposite thing is there, impedance is maximum, almost infinity for ideal case. And current is minimum. Actually, not a minimum, it is exactly 0 for ideal case. But ideal case does not exist because inductor and capacitor, inductor is having some resistance, some current is drawn through it. That's why current is minimum. Look here in this figure, this is the frequency and here is the current. As frequency goes on increasing, current decreases, and finally at a particular stage it is a minimum, not a 0. It is ideal case because inductor is having some resistance, some current must be flowing through it. But ideally it is not possible a 0 current. And thereafter again goes on increasing. This circuit offers very high impedance for current of frequency, resonant frequency, and reject it but allows the current of other frequencies. Look here, for resonant frequency, a current is minimum, it rejects the current for resonant frequency, and for other frequencies, it allows to flow the current. So this circuit is called as a rejector circuit. In series resonance, at resonant frequency, it allows the maximum current to flow through it because impedance is minimum. And here in parallel resonance circuit, impedance is almost infinity. So it blocks the current, it not allowed to flow the current under ideal condition. So it is a rejector circuit. This circuit is useful in radio communication as well as in the filter circuits. I think this is all about series resonance and parallel resonance. From March 95, I think so, these topics are included in your syllabus. Up to them, only one time parallel resonance is asked. Thereafter, we go through another interesting topic is there, LC oscillations. Means inductor, consider a parallel combination of inductor and capacitor as shown in figure. Yes, inductor is there and capacitor. They are connected in parallel, no battery is there. Try to understand. Let C be initially charged to Q0. Means capacitor is initially charged up to Q0 in time T0. Be connected to the ideal inductor. Means initially from external source, capacitor is fully charged up to charge Q0 and thereafter it is directly connected to the inductor. Then suppose we consider under ideal condition inductor is having a zero resistance. It is not possible, but still we considered under ideal condition inductor is having a zero resistance. Means it is ideal, means here zero resistance. Then the electric energy stored in the dielectric medium of the plates of the capacitor, UE equal to half Q naught square upon C. We know the formula of it. Directly you take UE equal to energy stored in the capacitor. Remember the chapter electrostatic. There we discuss energy stored in the capacitor is half Q naught square upon C. Since there is no current in the circuit, the energy stored in the magnetic field of the inductor is zero. Okay, the electric field is developed between the dielectric plates, and how much energy is stored? Electric energy stored in the capacitor is half Q naught square upon C. But no current is flowing through the inductor, no current through the coil, so no electric magnetic field is produced surrounding space, no energy stored in the magnetic field. It is zero. Okay, as circuit is closed, as soon as circuit is closed, what happens? The capacitor begins to discharge. Circuit is closed, then capacitor begins to discharge itself through inductor, giving rise to current in the circuit. As capacitor begins to discharge and it sends current through the inductor. Look here in this figure. And as current increases, it builds up the magnetic field around inductor. As current goes in the inductor coil, what happens? Current goes on increasing. Then magnetic field around the inductor coil also goes on increasing. Look here. And as magnetic field goes on increasing around, the part of the electric energy of the capacitor gets converted into or stored in the inductor in the form of magnetic energy. And this magnetic energy is taken as half Li square. And thereafter, at later case, C gets fully discharged. Thereafter, when it sends a current, inductor is fully discharged. Capacitor is fully discharged. And as capacitor is fully discharged, means total electric energy in the capacitor gets converted into magnetic field energy in the inductor. Then, fully discharged, potential difference across its plate becomes zero. The current reaches its maximum value, I naught. The energy of the magnetic field equal to half Li square, means magnetic field energy is also maximum. Thus, entire electric energy of the capacitor gets converted into magnetic field energy. I think this is all about it. Thereafter, we go through next thing. Then, after the discharge of the capacitor C complete, the magnetic flux link with the inductor decreases. Means current decreases. Then on account of Lenz's law, what happens? It is the electric inertia in the inductor. It does not want to stop the current. Then it sends, that means it behaves as a battery due to self-induction. And as due to self-induction, it becomes a battery and it sends a current in the same direction. It tried to, means through capacitor, current decreases because it is fully discharged. No electric energy is there. So no current is there, means current goes on decreasing. But due to electric inertia, what happens? Inductor want to increase the current in the circuit. Initially it opposes to flow the current, but later on, as current drops down, it want to increase the current, so it sends a current in opposite direction. That means here the current decreases and induce current in the same direction, Lenz's law earlier current. The current remains continuous but with decreasing magnitude and charge the C in opposite direction. Look here, this current is sent by the inductor in this direction because it want to increase the current. Initially, when this capacitor sends the current through it, then what happens? Due to self-induction, it opposes to flow the current. It does not want to induce EMF in it. It does not want to change the magnetic flux associated with it. But as soon as this capacitor is discharged, what happens? Current goes on decreasing. It does not want to decrease the current also. Just like as I am saying, you are in the bus, you does not want to go along with the bus. A mechanical inertia. But bus carry you along with you. That means when bus starts, you move backward direction. But once bus is in uniform motion, you adjust yourself, you are also uniform motion. But driver stop the brake. Then what happens? You move forward. You does not want to stop. Once, initially when bus starts, you does not want to go along with the bus. But once it stops, you does not want to stop with bus. Then it is a mechanical inertia. Similarly, in the inductor also, initially it does not want to allow to flow the maximum current through it. It opposes to flow the current. But as soon as current drops down, once current drops down, it sends a current in opposite direction. That's all about it. And thereafter, in latter case, this inductor sends a current in the capacitor. And capacitor is oppositely charged. Means the current remains continuous but decreasing magnitude and charge the capacitor in opposite direction. The magnetic energy of the inductor begins to change into electrostatic energy. Now look here, this inductor sends a current through the capacitor. Again, capacitor becomes charged. Means this magnetic field energy associated with the inductor gets converted into electric current. And thereafter, the process, that means the electrostatic energy of the capacitor, the process continues till C is fully charged. Again, C is fully charged. And as C is fully charged, again what happens? It sends a current in the opposite direction, means in this direction. Again, same thing happens. Mean polarity which is opposite to that of the initial state. Thus, entire energy is again stored in the electric energy. Means capacitor is mean electric field energy. Mean magnetic field energy gets converted and again electric field energy. Means half Q naught square upon C in the electric field of the capacitor. Then again capacitor begins to discharge, again sending current in opposite direction. Look here, capacitor sends a current in this direction. And the energy is once again transferred in the magnetic field of the inductor. Again same thing happens. Thus the process repeated itself in the opposite direction. The circuit returns to its initial state. Okay, means look here, initially capacitor is charged. It sends a current through the inductor. Then as it sends a current through the inductor, then this electric energy gets converted into initial state. Capacitor is fully charged. It sends a current through the inductor. Then this total electric energy of the capacitor get converted into magnetic field energy. But due to Lenz's law, it sends a current in opposite direction. As capacitor is fully discharged, thereafter total electric energy gets converted into magnetic field energy. As thereafter again what happens? Inductor sends a current in the capacitor. Again capacitor begins to charge. But polarity of the charges are reverse. Mean initially here is a positive and here is the negative. But later on, when inductor sends a current, here is a positive and here is a negative. Mean again capacitor becomes fully charged. Mean magnetic field energy gets converted into electric energy. And as magnetic field energy gets converted into electric energy totally, again it sends a current in this direction. Again, inductor gets fully charged. Again, electric energy gets converted into magnetic field. It means electric energy gets converted into magnetic field energy when capacitor is discharged. And as magnetic field energy gets converted into electric field energy when inductor sends a current through the capacitor. And this process goes on repeating. Thus, the energy of the system continuously transfer between electric field of the capacitance and magnetic field of the inductor. This process produces an electric oscillator of the definite frequency, and these are called as the LC oscillations. Then, what are the drawbacks of this LC oscillation? What is damping is there? If there is no loss of energy, means under ideal situation, inductor no loss of energy, means here under ideal condition, inductor is having a zero resistance. Superconductor. Inductor is made up of superconductor. Superconductor does not exist in practice. You know that under normal temperature, superconductor does not exist. But suppose we consider it is the inductor is made up of superconductor, means circuit is not having any resistance. Then what happens? If there is no loss of energy, amplitude of the oscillation remains constant and oscillations are undamped. However, LC oscillations are usually damped due to following reason. Every inductor has some resistance. This causes energy loss as a heat. Means to oppose to flow the current, energy means we know the heating effect of an electric current. When current flows through the conductor coil, what happens? It opposes to flow the current, and we have to perform work against the resistance, and it is stored in the form of heat energy. This is the criteria. But under ideal situation, when it is made up of superconductor, no loss of energy in the form of heat, and total heat electric energy gets converted into magnetic field energy, and total magnetic field energy gets converted into electric energy. But it's not possible. Means every inductor has some resistance. This causes energy loss as a heat. The amplitude of oscillation goes on decreasing and then finally die out. Means damping is there. Even if resistance were zero, total energy of the system would not remain constant. That means another way is also there. Total energy, even if under ideal situation, means inductor is made up of superconductor, zero resistance, then some part of the energy is radiated in the form of electromagnetic waves. Means the energy is radiated away in the form of electromagnetic waves. Working of the radio and TV transmitter is based on the such radiation. Means in the antenna exactly same thing is there. Means in the antenna are the conductors, good conductor material, aluminum or other. And then what happens? They are a perfect radiator. They radiate the energy in the form of electromagnetic waves. Means there is a damping of the oscillation due to some resistance in the inductor coil as well as a radiation of the electromagnetic waves. So, ideal LC oscillations are not possible, or oscillations of fixed constant amplitude are not possible. There is a loss of energy. I think this is all about LC oscillations and its damping, and all about a chapter AC circuits. In next lecture, we discuss about numericals are related with this chapter. Today it's enough. Have a good day. Thank you.